Light the beam, because it's time for Nerdy for 30, podcast where we talk about nerdy-ish movies for 30-ish minutes. My name is Kevin Bauer, a.k.a. the Critic's Choice. With me, as always, the People's Champ, Tim Cack.
If you feel it, chase it, baby.
If you feel it, chase it. Today, we're talking about Captain America, Brave New World. This is an interesting experiment for us. It's a Brave New World for us as well, because we are trying to shoot this as an actual video.
Face to face, mano a mano, in the same room.
We haven't done this in years. I don't think we've done this since Shang-Chi.
It's been a long time. Shang-Chi, we tried to get like 5 people in a studio in your office, and it was a mess.
Yeah.
It was a mess. I mean, an incredible pod. It turns out the last good Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And
They don't make them like they used to, Tim.
They don't make them like they did, a couple years ago. They really just don't make them anymore, honestly. But we were talking about Captain America Brave New World, right? I saw it with Spencer. We were all supposed to see it together. Me and Spencer ended up seeing it and just, I think, really, really lowered the bar for you.
Yes. Yeah.
So that
I want to thank you for your heroism in the line of duty on this one. You helped me go in with good expectations, realistic expectations. And I didn't hate it as much as you guys did.
Yeah, I think that makes the difference. I think if you lower the bar far enough, you can just step over. And I think that's what this movie did, is it barely stepped over the bar, which I think was on the floor. Yeah. And I think that probably makes all the difference in this scenario.
It's bizarre, dude. This movie is obviously a mess. I don't think either one of us wants to just like shit on this movie for a half hour straight.
I do. I fucking hated this movie. And it's at the point now, I'm not going to talk about this the whole time, but our world is fucking burning. We're reaching the end of capitalism, late stage capitalism. We're paying more for less. We're getting fucked at the grocery store. We're getting fucked at our jobs, and we're getting fucked at the movies. And now, genuinely, there is a new low for Marvel movies, and it is late stage capitalism, where you just see on the screen that they do not give a shit. They are not trying. They are cutting corners. The CGI sucks. They've got 8 people writing this script. They're doing all these reshoots. They're cutting things out. It's just a low effort clusterfuck in an attempt to save money on a movie that's going to make $1 billion. And it legit pisses me off. It's because people will be like, oh my God, like how bad was Iron Man 2? And it's like Iron Man 2 was so much better than this movie.
No question.
Like even the worst in what's the main Infinity Saga?
Yeah.
Every movie from the Infinity Saga is leaps and bounds ahead of this movie because they tried. They put effort in, they thought about it. There was just intent there. They weren't trying to cut corners as blatantly as they are now with this and Megalomania or whatever that Ant-Man movie was.
Dude, that's the low bar for the entire MCU.
But that one they were doing all these weird effects. They were doing all this weird, cool stuff. And in this one, this is an insulting movie. If you are going in to watch a movie, this is a fucking insult to us and our intelligence. It's a reminder that our world is burning and we're losing control of things. That being said, if you can jump that hurdle, it's nice to see, Captain America.
I mean, yeah. So
if you can turn off the part of your brain where you're like, I am actively getting fucked by this product. I spent $25 to see this. And they don't give a shit about me. They're throwing shit on the floor, expecting us to eat it. And you just turn off that part of your brain. You're like, okay, it's nice. It's nice to see. It's nice to see our guy Anthony Mackie again. I'm really hoping. If you forget for a second that you watched the trailer to this movie and that every fucking twist that's coming, because guess what? You see the Red Hulk in the trailer. That's 90% of the Red Hulk you get in this movie, and it all builds towards the reveal, which they tease like 8 times. Oh my God, Harrison Ford, he's going to be the Red Hulk. He's going to be the Red Hulk. Oh my God, what's he doing? What's going on? It's like, we fucking know. We saw the trailer. You promoted this movie. This was in every single ad. None of this is a surprise. None of this is a reveal. And you couldn't come up with anything else. Not a single other interesting thing or twist to make this worthwhile. Like the level of disrespect, fucking impossible. Sorry, Quantumania was bullshit, but at the end of the movie, we were talking about it is Ant-Man going to die? That was a real conversation we were having at the time because Endgame had happened. We're like in this next step. I was legit in my mind like, holy shit, they might kill Paul Rudd in this movie. I was rooting for him at the end with Kang.
Mhm.
There is no tension in this movie at all. Anthony Mackie, he's going to be fine. We need him for more franchises. Also, he's fighting a Hulk. He can't beat the Hulk. There's no stakes to this. It's just all bullshit. Like at least for a moment in Quantumania, I got caught up in the experience and like was really rooting for something.
Mhm.
Whereas in this one, the whole time I was bored and disappointed. Like even when it was okay, I was still bored and disappointed, you know? And I'll try and say positive stuff after this, but I just need everyone to be 100% clear on my stance that this is bullshit, that Disney does not respect us, and that, you know, our world is dying, and this is just more evidence that we are getting fucked constantly. Sorry, Mom, for saying the F word, but, you know, there's good fucking, and then there's getting fucked.
Oh my God.
You want to be the one fucking, not the one getting fucked over. I don't know.
Well, I think that's a matter of opinion. And I think, yeah.
I want to be the one fucking. I do not want to be the one getting fucked. Not at the movie theater. Not in my quiet time. Not in my escape from reality. This was just a blatant reminder of how awful the world is today.
How? So
I'm pissed. This sucks. This is awful. They should not be allowed to get away with this.
I didn't think
I'm
it
going
was
to a
that
town
bad.
hall. I'm going to the next fucking town hall that they have, and I'm screaming at whoever my representative, do something about these Marvel movies. Do something.
Do
My
you feel
God.
like, well, okay, so this one was a big pandemic casualty, obviously. Like this one has been in reshoots for I think like 2 years or something insane.
Yeah.
So much of this it seems like, I mean, they really stepped in it when they were trying to have the character who in the comics was Sabra, and this one is a former Black Widow. And like, quick sidebar, there's a moment where they're like, it looks like she was born in Israel and graduated the Black Widow program, and it's like, wow, this was clearly a line replacement. But like they stepped in it there. They had to do some reshoots there. They brought in Giancarlo Esposito for some reason. He was like maybe the only interesting part of this movie. He managed to kind of be interesting in this movie, but it's also like, why this? Like, I think the conversation originally was, is Giancarlo Esposito going to be Magneto? Instead, he decided Sidewinder. Bizarre.
He's a reshoot casualty too. Like they threw
Definitely
him
a
in
reshoot
last
casualty.
minute.
We're doing a lot of stuff with Danny Ramirez as the new Falcon that we don't need in the same way. Like, it's just, there's a lot of sloppy stuff in this movie that is clearly either left over from older ideas of the movie or, you know, just trying to build ground for what's coming up. Outside of that, again, like if you can put that aside, it's just kind of like a little bit boring. Like it feels on par for me. One of the first movies we did on this pod is Without Remorse by Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. That was
And it was rough, but this feels on par with those kind of like military action, I guess, thrillers. But it's like there's so many like mid military movies that feel like they're designed to be played on TNT at 1 p.m. on Saturday.
yes.
This just kind of feels like one of those. So like I think this is, by virtue of just being a little bit boring, I think it's so much better than Quantumania, which was an assault on taste. Like, I mean, oh, Jesus Christ, dude. The absolute best thing that has happened in the MCU since Shang-Chi is the fact that Peyton Reed was not given the Fantastic Four. His hat was in the ring. I was terrified. I've never
did
liked
Peyton
what he
Reed
did
do?
with it. He did the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey, and then he did
Classic.
the first 2 Ant-Man movies. And
I
I
like
think he
them.
did the third one too. It just got awful. I think around the time the dailies were coming out for the third one is when he found out he was not going to be given Fantastic Four. And you got him. It's just like, we can't give this guy.
Like mid shoot of Quantumania, he found out and was just like, you know what? Fuck it. You know, I'm done after this anyway. Like, let's wrap this up. Let's just get this over with and head out.
I guess. Man,
The reshoots, technical aspects of this are brutal. They should have called it Captain America Exposition because they explain the same thing to you 5 times. They leave nothing to the imagination.
Mhm.
You know, what's his face? We have Bradley.
Isaiah Bradley.
Isaiah Bradley. And for some reason, he stands up like the Manchurian Candidate and he tries to kill the president. And we all hear some weird music playing and we see some flashes on his phone. And everyone's like, why did he do that? And he's like, I don't know why I did that. And it's like, we all know he's brainwashed.
Yeah.
And they literally have to discover he's brainwashed a good 35 minutes after the audience did.
Yeah.
Like, we all know. And they still have to figure it out. And then they have to explain it to the people in the room. And then, wait, the president wasn't in the room when that happened. Let's go into the bunker onto the one soundstage that Harrison Ford was on the entire time.
Mhm.
Harrison Ford shot this for like 2 weeks and he did not interact with another person on the set. And he did not leave the same like trailer this whole time. They put the president in a bunker immediately. And it's like, okay, cool. He just doesn't want to have to travel.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to have to shoot outside. You know, he's worried about his skin. He's going to ride on his Peloton, which we have to talk about the Peloton.
Yeah.
But-
Which I think, by the way, that room on Air Force One with the Peloton, I think that was just shot inside Harrison Ford's trailer. That was just actually what his trailer looks like.
100%. This was such a low effort thing from Harrison Ford. And I think he did not deliver. It was not fun watching Harrison Ford do any of this stuff. They kept trying to show him, oh, he's about to freak out, but he's like an 80-year-old man. Like, I'm not intimidated by an 80-year-old man losing his shit. Like, oh my God, this old man is freaking out. He's not going to hurt anyone. He can't. He literally can't do any physical damage to anyone. He's frail. A breeze could knock him over. And yet he wasn't there when we explained the brainwashing. So now we have to go visit him and we have to explain the brainwashing. Oh, wait, this other character wasn't there for the brainwashing. We need to go and explain the brainwashing to them. Oh, wait, Giancarlo Esposito or whatever that guy's name is, he wasn't there for the brainwashing. So now we have to go to him. But now he has information to tell us. Why? Because someone's got to tell us this information that the audience has already put together through context clues. Oh, wait, but, you know, the Falcon wasn't there when they did this. Now we have to explain to the Falcon. Oh, wait, the president wasn't there when this happened. We have to explain to the Falcon. It's just people explaining stuff the audience already knows a dozen times.
Yeah.
And it's not fun.
No, I can
not
only imagine
fun.
that was like, again, like another reshoot thing where it's like they have swapped in and out so many different things. I got to look up. I did find online a list of all the changes they made. I thought it'd be kind of fun for us to go through all the reshoot
Yeah,
changes
would
that were
love to
made.
hear this.
The
The Serpent Society is a huge one.
I think
Seth
so.
Rollins was on set and they sent him home without making it into the movie.
That's
Just a blow.
insane.
Devastating. Professional wrestler. Former WWE champion Seth Rollins deserved to be in this movie. Because why the fuck? I mean, they'll just let anyone in. Like, who cares?
What did you think about the fight between, speaking of wrestlers, what did you think about the fight between Anthony Mackie and the guy in the beginning of the movie and the what do you call it, church in Mexico? Because I thought it was so clear, it was so obvious. They were trying to go through a checklist of all the objections that people have to him as Captain America, where it's like, well, without the wings, he can't do anything. And it's, well, without the shield, he can't do anything. And he doesn't have the super soldier serum, so he can't win in a fight. So they just went through the checklist one by one, having him accomplish each of those things. And it was still kind of lame.
They did a bad job. Like, Winter Soldier opens up with Captain America doing the most badass thing we've seen Captain America do, which is jump out of a plane without a parachute.
Yes.
Right? Which is from the comics. Awesome. It was awesome in the comics. And now he's doing it here. Then he runs around this ship. He's just sprinting around this ship, taking people out effortlessly.
Mhm.
And by the time his crew lands, and then he gets into like one tough spot, and the guy, you know, his buddy has his back, and he lands on the plane, and he's like, oh, you know, I'm glad I got to help you, Cap, or whatever. It's like, well, you kind of took care of everything. Like we watched Captain America be a huge badass and steamroll all these guys.
Yeah.
And Anthony Mackie never gets that. He doesn't get to steamroll people. He gets to do this landing thing with the wings, and then which is cool, and he lands, and there's a sonic boom following. And he says,
Makes
wait
no
for it.
sense. Makes
He
his
should-
legs would be jello.
He should literally steamroll everyone in the church scene.
Yeah.
He should fuck up everyone in the church scene. Like, I don't know who this guy is that he fought that was like tough, but George St. Pierre, I'm pretty sure, played like Barrack the Leaper in Captain America. And this guy's like a professional UFC fighter. Like, this guy's a famous badass.
Mm.
So when Captain America takes his hand, and they're like, oh, you're nothing without the shield. He drops the shield intentionally. He takes off his mask and they try to recreate this. But once he does that, Captain America beats the shit out of this guy.
Right.
Anthony Mackie gets work. He gets a rib broken. He's doing all this stuff. And it's like, come on, man. Like, or he just doesn't have to do that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
he should have steamrolled everybody and kicked ass and asserted his dominance. They should have shown us that he's good at being Captain America, and they never did that. And so now we're still left questioning whether or not he's good at anything, honestly.
Yeah. It's weird. It's his movie. They should be going out of their way to show him being as cool as possible. That's the whole point.
They should.
And the one moment that they give us like a slow-mo thing is in the fight with the non-lethal fight with the people who are brainwashed in the leader's bunker by the leader. There's a moment where they slow it down for Anthony Mackie to do like a leap and twist in the air and kick the shield so that it bounces off a wall and hits 3 people and then comes back and he grabs it again. And it is weak. It is a lame moment. I cannot believe that is something. There's a moment where like he throws the shield and it's bouncing back and forth between people in a hallway and it's moving so slowly. Just all the little details like that, they're just letting him down. We've seen Sam do other cool stuff before in these other movies. Look at the moment in Civil War where he like takes the wing pack off and it becomes a shield for him and he like makes some forward momentum on these guys. There's really cool shit to be done. The sonic boom thing is cool, but I think that's like a moment where we need an explanation of like, oh, his boots are vibranium too. Otherwise, like, why does he have knees anymore after landing so hard it would cause a sonic boom? It's wild. It's wild how mishandled this was. And it bums me out because I love Anthony Mackie. I love Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson's such a cool character. They've done so much cool shit with them. I stand by some of the stuff that they say in this movie. Like when they have Joaquin Torres in the hospital bed saying that like Sam Wilson doesn't give up. Like you were the one that I looked up to. There's some cool stuff there. When he's talking to Bucky, it's a cool moment where it's clear like this is a guy who's trying his best. That is worth something. Like it does make sense that maybe this guy would be a good leader of the Avengers because he is subject to, physics and rules of humanity that nobody else is. So it's like, it kind of feels like how there's this like growing sentiment that I dig that all employees should have a seat on the board of every company so that like, when decisions are being made that are going to impact the business, somebody's there speaking for the workers. The same thing like him with the Avengers. There should be one person on the Avengers who doesn't have superpowers. Like it's the role that Hawkeye, I think, used to play where it's like, hey, this isn't good. Like maybe we need to not do that.
Yeah, you need someone to be like the emotional center of the group and
I
like the
think he can
moral
be
center
that.
of the group. And he can 100% do that. To your slow-mo point, one of the things that's so fun about rewatching these movies
Mhm.
is rewinding these scenes where they do something cool.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, holy shit, I didn't realize this happened. Last time in Iron Man, I was talking about the sunglasses. They merged into his uniform. It's like, you don't
Yeah.
realize that the first time. You go online and you see that happen, then you're like, what? And then you rewatch it. Somebody does something cool. Like the shield kick, like slowing it down is just exactly the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Like perfectly the wrong way to handle that. And they do slow-mo like 3 times in the movie. There's one when he's flying and he turns sideways and cuts the wing off a jet.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is a very cool thing. You're slowing it down is making it so lame.
Yeah.
Like if he just did it, that's the kind of thing that gets you rewatching this on Disney Plus like 3 times, is seeing like how they actually do this, how do you actually pull this off? Like the speed of the action is what makes it cool.
Yeah.
Slowing it down and showing us the work is not super interesting. But yeah, he should be like the moral center of this. I think it's fair that he's in this. I do think maybe with the comic book movies, I think I maybe take them a little too seriously sometimes. I think we as nerds probably take them a little too seriously. At the end of the day, they're comic books.
Right.
And if he's flying at super speed and he lands in the comics, and there's the shockwave, like, I'm not going to be nitpicky that his knees didn't explode when he did a cool thing. It is also very easy to correct, which is like vibranium suit. Like, why does he not have a vibranium suit? It sounds like it's just the wings are vibranium.
It does sound like that. They're the only things that are taking the impacts. And I mean, just do the whole suit. Just do the whole, like he needs something. I get it. I get that. I get the whole idea. But
So
like
suit got cut.
John Wick, yeah, his suit got cut. John Wick has the Kevlar suit that can stop bullets. I guess they kind of explained that his clothes have a Kevlar weave to them, which is why getting stabbed directly in the lung by Sidewinder didn't do anything to him. Taking an axe to the gut. Just let him have something, please, for the love of God. If you're going to keep having the stakes be this high, give him something. Or give him nothing and make the stakes higher. Like, give him even less and make the stakes higher. Like, go
Right.
one direction or the other. We're in
Right.
a weird middle ground right now.
You make the stakes higher by making him a human being who just has these wings, just has this shield, and now he has to take on the side, like the Serpent Society.
Yeah.
And it's street level, and they're using guns, and he has to hide behind the shield, he has to hide behind the thing, and if a bullet hits him, he bleeds.
Yeah.
That's escalating a story.
Right.
Having this guy who only has wings and a shield fight a Hulk is dumb. It doesn't do anything for him. It doesn't do anything for the Hulk. I hated the way he fought the Hulk
Oh
too,
my god!
because
dude,
he's
it was
doing
so
this
bad.
slicing thing with the wings, which in the air, slicing the wing off a jet is very cool. But I don't think it's a heroic thing to be cutting some.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. It's rare to see outside of the context of like, a katana in a samurai movie. It's weird to see a good guy using a blade. Blades are typically a bad guy thing.
That's why there's no superheroes with swords, man.
Yeah.
There's like none of it, because then you're just cutting stuff. Even Wolverine, like he stabs people and stuff and he'll slice, but they don't ever show any of that really.
And he's an anti-hero. Like,
And he's a bad guy, and it makes him yes.
yeah, he's like, traumatic past. He's got knives in his hands. He can't escape it. Like,
Captain America slicing through the Hulk's skin doesn't work.
it's really weird.
It really does not work at all.
The only thing I can think of is Thor. But even Thor, he's a Viking. There's like a war, there's like a combat element to it. It feels weird to have it be a Captain America thing.
He also has a mace.
Yeah.
Like Thor is a blunt weapon. The shield is a blunt weapon. Iron Man's stuff, he has the lasers, but they're lasers. They're not cutting through anything. I mean, honestly, in Hawkeye, some of the I just rewatched like Rambo, like the fourth
First
one.
Blood. Oh
no, I
yeah.
really want to rewatch the originals, but the new ones are on Netflix. And in that one, he has a bow and arrow, and it's brutal to watch him just shooting these arrows, and they're going through people's heads and like knocking them back. And like there's this guy leaning over a truck, and he shoots him, and it goes through him and into the truck, and
Oh,
that guy's stuck
Jesus.
there. And it's like, oh, this is hard to watch. This is gruesome. And even when you see Hawkeye, it is not like that. You see a CGI alien take one to the head and like fall over. You
Yeah.
see somebody take one in the arm and it's okay. But you don't see somebody like really just like penetrated by a foreign object by a hero. Like these things get too violent,
Oh, for sure. Let me check how much time we got. Quick,
Sure.
too.
That's a good point.
All right, we're at about 22 right now.
Okay. You want to get to
So-
this other thing?
Yeah, so I wanted to ask about I have this list pulled up of all the stuff that was cut. This is on Reddit.
So we know it's true.
We know it's true. I mean, this person has receipts, dude. There's so many set photos. There's pictures of leaked Happy Meal toys for characters that never got released. There's
I
characters.
think a
and
lot of
everything.
them came out. That
I
was the
think they
thing, was the
did.
Happy Meal toys. They released a bunch of them because of some contract obligation,
Mhm.
and then they ended up pushing the shoot back. So they released Happy Meal toys for characters that I don't think ever actually made it into the movie. Right?
Specifically Diamondback. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then it looks like let's see. There's the members. This is leaked by Can We Get Some Toast, an extremely reliable scooper who was sued by Marvel Studios last year for leaking promotional posters. The members of the Serpent Society were supposed to be Diamondback, Constrictor, Rattler, Asp, and Cobra. They would have all had segmented tattoos that would spread apart like seams to reveal cybernetic enhancements. Together, they made the Serpent. Now, that's dumb as hell.
That's amazing. Oh, I would
Agree
love
to disagree
see
on
that.
that.
But together they make the Serp. Like they
Together
turn
they
into
make
one
the Serp.
monster.
Well, all right. So here's the breakdown. Diamondback was the actor Rosa Salazar. She had diamond spike tattoos on her hands. She was able to shoot projectiles from her fingers. Pretty dumb. Rattler, sonic booms came from his legs that rattled. Also dumb. Constrictor, charged coils went up his arms. Dumb. Asp had light up fire fists. Now that's dumb.
To be fair, I think this is what their powers are in the comics, or they're pretty close.
I think it is, but it's a fucking tough beat when they're trying to make all this stuff in the MCU like kind of realistic, it's a tough beat to have random ass things like this. And it's like, okay, well, okay, team, so we're gonna give you each a tattoo and it's gonna make a snake. Isn't that cool? It's like a friendship tat. It's
The tattoo
dumb,
part
dude.
is weird. Why don't you just give them mods?
I mean, yeah, give him something. This guy, Cobra, was Seth Rollins. Fangs came out of his mouth that spit out acid. I mean, that's dumb. If you're gonna launch acid, you wouldn't ever want to do it from your mouth.
That is dumb. I think I was looking at this and I was like, how is the guy that Sam fights not turning into a giant snake if they're fighting the Serpent Society? They're like becoming like a lizard type character.
Yeah, like make them. Yeah, just
And-
make them exactly.
I think in the comics that wasn't really their thing. I think they had augmentations like this. Like the one that stood out to me was there's some guy named Anaconda, and he had, I think, adamantium arms
Oh, I think
or
you're right.
vibranium arms, and he would just like try and wrap people up and crush them with his unbreakable arms. And I'm like, that's a good bit.
Yeah, that works.
That's a very reasonable power to have. I think maybe having, fangs coming out of this guy's mouth. I mean, that's kind of dumb, but also that makes way more sense than him fighting a Hulk. Like Red Hulk does
Yeah.
not make any sense in this scenario at all. I would much rather him fighting the Serpent Society. Like that's enough for a movie, is him trying to take down the Serpent Society.
Yeah. And it looks like that was kind of the original cut. It looks like there was supposed to be a big airport fight against all of them. It looks like it was a Mexican airport instead of the monastery to open it up. And it looks like Isaiah Bradley, I'm a little iffy on this. It looks like Isaiah Bradley was originally in that fight and Falcon and Cap gave him his own cap suit, which is like, I don't think, like, respect for this dude, he's still obviously in great shape, but I don't think we need him joining an actual fight in this.
He is actually an old man, right? Like he doesn't move physically like a super soldier.
Right.
Maybe
I mean,
he's
no,
putting it
like,
on. Maybe it's a choice, but I don't think this actor is capable of moving the way you need to move in order to convincingly portray a super soldier in this movie.
Yeah.
Like why are we setting him up for failure like that? I don't think we need it. Him being
It's weird.
him being ambushed and like knocking a couple guys out or throwing people around.
That's cool.
That would be cool. If
Them
people-
underestimating him?
them
Yeah,
underestimating him and him knocking the crap out of somebody, awesome.
very.
Him suiting up and like standing next to Sam, I don't think we need that at all.
No, I think he's cool as hell, but don't do that. I do think we definitely should have gotten Patriots, though. I think
We-
that would have been.
Patriot is a massive missed opportunity. It would be so easy, and it would make sense for that to be like Sam's sidekick. The Falcon
Yeah,
thing.
why?
So the
What
Falcon.
the fuck?
Did you
So
ever
weird.
read the DC comics where Batman and it's like Bruce Wayne goes missing, and so Dick Grayson becomes Batman,
Mhm.
and then Damian Wayne becomes Robin
Yeah.
to like fill in for him. And the classic Batman Robin dynamic is that Dick Grayson is a lot goofier and he's taking risks and he's making jokes and he just doesn't take the whole thing as seriously. He's just got he's got a personality.
Yeah.
That Bruce Wayne does not have, where Bruce Wayne is serious all the time. So they do a role reversal where Batman is now this like funny, not taking it seriously guy, and the son is like hyper aggressive.
He's like
super
trying to kill
intense.
people. He's like 10
Yes.
years old. Yeah.
And so that's been the dynamic with Captain America and Anthony Mackie to some extent, right? In the
Mhm.
comics so far, not to that extreme, but Captain America takes things very seriously and is straight laced. And even when he's joshing with you, he's like, he's joshing with you the way like, a really, like a youth pastor would joke with you. Like
Yeah.
that's how Steve Rogers jokes. Whereas Anthony Mackie, it seems like, is cracking jokes. He's talking smack. He's like teasing the other people on his team. Like he's having fun. But now the fact that he's Captain America, it's like he's not allowed to do that anymore. And so now he has to be serious, which I think is like a little out of character for Sam Wilson. And all the fun stuff is on the new Falcon.
Mhm.
Whereas I think it would be very interesting to see Sam Wilson having that struggle of like, but I want to be goofy. I want to have fun. I'm not that serious of a person, but I'm taking on a serious responsibility, and that kind of clashing. And maybe you kind of get that dynamic more with a Falcon who is more serious and straight laced,
Yeah.
like maybe more of a Patriot character that is taking this seriously. And maybe then the new Captain America is the one to tell the new Falcon, hey man, you got to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I have all the weight of the world on my shoulders and I'm smiling.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
think that's fun.
that's actually like an interesting character thing. Whether or not that's the right way to do it or the wrong way to do it, that's an interesting character choice as opposed to this where it's just monologue after monologue of Anthony Mackie not having fun. I mean, I don't think Anthony Mackie enjoyed filming this at all. He just got monologue after monologue, boring explanations, freedom and your family, and look at the rose blood. I mean, it's just was anyone having fun? I mean, the actor who played the Falcon was the only one having fun on the set.
I think so. There was a couple moments where they're supposed to be joking around and having fun, like in the limo, where it all just feels so forced and does not feel like them taking like a picture. It just all feels so like weird, manufactured, and icky. I mean, dude, they need to make sure that these people stop looking like Power Rangers. We've really taken a nosedive in the costume department. The new Falcon's costume is the worst thing I've ever seen in the MCU. It's awful. It's awful. He looks like a Power Ranger, man. And like, it just undercuts all of this. There's a line in the script where it's like he is allegedly using Falcon's old gear. It looks nothing like Falcon's old gear. It'd be really cool if he was literally wearing Falcon's stuff from Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or like
he painted
even his stuff, but it's still not the same stuff. It's not the same armor.
Yeah.
Like it should literally, if it's going to be a paint job, it should be literally the same armor, but painted differently. And like, I really, really hated the look. It took me out of it. I'm also sick of all these like, nanoparticle helmets that come and go when they want because they're CGI. It just, again, robs any of the realism. I don't mind if it's a physical helmet he has to take off. I think that's better. I think it's cooler. It grounds the audience with something. And I think the helmet needs to have looked more like a pilot like flight helmet because they were kind of trying to reference it. But everybody looks really cool in Top Gun. So just give them a Top Gun helmet. It would be awesome.
The Top Gun scene, too, I didn't know what was going on. The
whole time.
I think it's shot so poorly.
Dude,
you can't tell what's happening. It's also, this guy can just slice the wings off a plane. So why doesn't he just do that? Right? Like,
it's a nightmare, Tim.
It's terrible. Even the scenes where people are like, wow, it was cool watching him fly. And it's like, it is kind of cool. Like they're doing cool things like Red Wing taking the shield and using that as like a defensive thing. I think the use of Red Wing is kind of cool, but I don't know what's happening. I don't know why the two of these guys are having such a hard time with two fighter jets.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool that there's a dogfight. I think that idea of putting Captain America into a dogfight is actually playing to the strengths of the Falcon being Captain America.
Yeah.
And yet the execution was so poor that I really did not like.
Yeah, they really need to be leaning harder into the dogfighting, the pilot angle. That's a way better way to take things. Tim, this movie was really bad. It's not good. It
was really bad.
I think it could have been saved. I think there was a way to save this. If we do a rewritable, so I think this one could be a candidate for that because I think it's doable.
Do you have any? Is there anything from this that you're like, this is cool? I mean, the dogfight, I think, in theory, is a good idea. In theory, the idea of the leader, I think the leader was completely botched, but the idea of the leader being a manipulative big bad in the shadows, we didn't even touch on anything.
No, we could easily
stuff didn't make any sense at all. But the idea of the leader being a villain in the MCU, I think, is a great idea and a huge missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I have any other thieves.
I don't think so. I know that Harrison Ford, we barely touched on Ford. Ford's a beef for me. I kept thinking, I don't even know if this movie would have existed in the same way if William Hurt was still alive, because I feel like so much of the Ford or the Ross stuff just leaned on the fact that Harrison Ford was playing Thunderbolt Ross. Like I don't think anybody
his daughter.
The same way.
They talked about his daughter like 8 times.
It's
you know what? Her showing up is not that big. Like I don't care. It doesn't mean anything.
Man,
it was like a movie that
the one thing it gave is the people behind us in the theater last night. Liv Tyler stepped foot on screen and then went, oh, Liz Taylor.
That scene was so dumb. I mean, what's his face? Winter Soldier showing up got a reaction in the theater.
I mean, that was just like, thank God someone is doing something cool.
Thank God there's chemistry in this movie at all. I mean, it was like kind of fun. But then I have to mention the product placement in this, because before we saw this movie, you're a Peloton guy.
Yeah.
And you said there was a sponsored, we've got one right off camera. Next time we'll do it from the Peloton.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be our product placement.
Oh, there we go.
Is
Yeah.
what if we did a whole podcast while doing a Peloton class?
I'm into it. The people have been asking for more breath.
Yeah.
That's a note that I've gotten a lot.
So Captain America. So in this movie, before the movie, you said there was a crossover thing on Peloton where there was a bike ride you could go on like with Captain America. Is that what, or was Captain America themed?
It was, it's called Train Like a Superhero. It's still available. It's Anthony Mackie. It's the Peloton instructor, Alex Toussaint. And I thought it was so strange until I saw the Peloton in the movie, and who is leading the class that Ross is taking other than Alex Toussaint, the person who does the class with Anthony Mackie. So it's like, I don't know how this got arranged. I don't know why either of them decided that, like, both of them, to be honest, both of them are kind of sinking ships. So I don't know why they thought that either could help. You know who can help one drowning man is another drowning man. But they did it, and I hadn't taken the class yet. I clicked through it to try to find any moment where Sam Wilson says anything, like any moment where he's not in character. So it's any moment where Anthony Mackie says anything. And I can't even find him saying a goddamn thing in the ride. He's just there. He's in it. He's biking next to Alex Toussaint, but he's not like saying anything. So I don't know. It's weird. Dude, we're way out of time with this one.
Sorry, but the last one is the Hummer. Then they're really plugging this electric Hummer.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a scene where they walk around the front and the trunk is in the front of the car because it's an electric car.
The front.
And it lifts the front and there's the shield in there and he pulls the shield out. And I'm like, this again is just a blame for Hummer 3, or whatever this Hummer, electric Hummer, which, by the way, I want a Hummer. I want a Peloton. I mean, the ads are working, but I hate them.
You need somewhere to put your Captain America shield.
I do.
Tim, this is a bad one. Hopefully Thunderbolts gets us going in the right direction again this May, but
ready to get hurt again.
Ready to get hurt again. Listener, what did you think? Let us know. Send us an email, nerdy430@gmail.com. We will read it on the show. We're going to be back here again next week. I think just another catch-up pods. We'll see you then. Until then, stay nerdy, everybody. Bye.
Stay nerdy. Bye.